Rutgers basketball improves to 3-0 on the 2025-2026 season so far with an 84-72 victory over Lehigh at the Rack on Friday night. It was not pretty. It was a one-possession game with under 8 minutes to play. I tweeted right before that when they were down, Lehigh was down 5 at the U8 timeout, that Rutgers in a dogfight with Lehigh was not what I was hoping to tweet tonight, but here we are. And to Rutgers' credit, they were able to pull away after Lehigh hit that 3 out of the timeout and finished the game, outscoring Lehigh by 10. I forget exactly what the final run was. Rutgers was 61-59. So it was, a 23-13 finish in the last, 7+ minutes of the game. Clearly, Dylan Grant is the best player on this team. Dominating performance, could not really be stopped, was 9 of 15 from the floor, 60%, 9 of 10 from the foul line, a game high 28 points overall. And he's got that dog in him. He's obviously developing, he's improving. I like his mentality. He plays really hard. He's a Steve Peichel type of player through and through. Just looking at the rest of the stats, he did have just 4 boards, 2 offensive, just 1 turnover. In 30 minutes was plus 15. But he, came through in a big way, kind of when Rutgers needed him to, when the game was close down the stretch. And I think the problem with this team is that if Dylan Grant is by far your best player, which I think is through 3 games is definitely the case, he's probably the 5th best player on a really good Big Ten team. So, there's that. I really like the way Darren Buchanan plays. He's not the best. He's not the most talented offensive player, but he's another Steve Peichel player through and through. He plays really hard. I think he's pretty heady. I think he's got a good feel for the game. I thought some of the things he did down the stretch, he just makes when he plays. He doesn't force things as much. He made a big turnaround jumper, towards the end. Before that, he went for it, he missed, and he pulled it out. But he's just kind of got a good mindset. He's gritty. He had 8 boards tonight, just 5 points, but on 2 of 5 shooting. He's not forcing things. He also had 21 minutes. He was plus 7, but he's a solid defender. He's a physical guy. I think he's an edge guy. I think he's a leader. I think he's been their 2nd best player. Again, I think on a really good team, he's coming off the bench. J-Mike, I thought he's been solid. Tonight, he was pretty steady. 14 points, 4 of 7 from the floor, 5 of 6 from the foul line, which is a huge improvement for him. 4 boards, 2 assists, did have 2 turnovers, had a block in 35 minutes, most minutes by far in the team, and had a team high plus minus of 18. He is certainly trusted. He was named the captain. He's this team I think has overall been pretty unselfish, which I'm happy about. I think they want to play together. I think they have a good attitude. I think they play hard. I think it's just a question of how talented is this team, how well balanced are they? What is their identity? I think we're just not there yet, and I think maybe it's unfair to expect that to be the case at this point, obviously. But at the same time, this was the Maine game was, they did not pull away from Maine, and then same with Lehigh. And Lehigh coming in, I mean, they scored a combined 52 average points against Houston. Houston, 57 points, 47 against West Virginia. Obviously, Houston's a great team. West Virginia is, probably going to be above average this year. And the defense for Rutgers tonight was not great. And they just let an inferior team hang around. Now, listen, we all know the Ron Harper, Geo Baker, Caleb McConnell team that went to the NCAA tournament for a 2nd year in a row, lost to Lafayette at home. It can happen. So credit to this team for not letting it happen. Certainly could be a lot worse. But I think at the same time, they're not inspiring right now in terms of are they going to surprise and exceed expectations. It's super early. It's been a small sample size so far. Credit to Emmanuel Ogbole tonight. Dominated inside, 16 points, 10 rebounds, cleaned up the glass in a big way. 7 of 8 from the floor. Had 5 offensive boards, had a block, played 26 minutes, a +9 there. He came up with some big buckets down the stretch. But this is a really undersized team. I mean, I think it's just a matter of, Rutgers physically overmatched Lehigh in this game. Did not shoot particularly well. 13 of 25 on layups, just 3 of 13 from 3. Did have 8 dunks, which was a huge part of it. Dominated the glass, +19. It was 45-26. They dominated points inside, 42-24. Offensive rebounds, 14-7. Second chance points, 15-8. But these are all stats that they should have against a team like Lehigh. How are they going to perform against a Big Ten team? How are they going to perform in Vegas against Tennessee, against Notre Dame? We're 2 games away from finding out in terms of Vegas. Bryce Dortch gave him some bright spots off the bench, 7 points on 3 of 3 shooting, couple boards. I think he doesn't try to do too much out there. He's athletic. Again, he's not a legit Big Ten center, but I like the way he plays. The freshmen have a long way to go. Mark not doing much again. Woolley did have 5 points tonight off the bench, a couple of assists, like the way he played. Badalow and Zerno are just kind of a major work in progress. Badalow, just 2 of 5 shooting, 0 of 2 from 3. Zerno, 0 of 5 shooting, 0 of 4 from 3. Both of those players are not giving Rutgers what they kind of need to give Rutgers to be able to kind of take that step forward in the Big Ten this year and not be the bottom tier. I don't mean the bottom half. I mean the bottom tier, like bottom 3. They need both of those players to be real factors to get into that 12 to 15 range or better. And it just hasn't happened so far. Tariq Francis has struggled from the floor after that hot shooting in the first game. He was just 2 of 7 tonight. Credit to him, though. He did have 6 boards, 4 assists. But Pike will definitely give the nod to Michael Davis over him down the stretch for the most part. But Davis just 6 of 19 from the floor in the last 2 games. For a guy that's a career 36% shooter, he's shot 30% against 2 low majors his last 2 games. So again, talking about just the small backcourt concerns going into Big Ten play, and really have not been dismissed. And overall, I mean, listen, this team's 3-0. They're taking care of business. But it was a struggle at times in this game, but they pulled through. And I think, you have an American team coming in that has beaten Penn, that gave Wake Forest a little bit of a battle. Rutgers steps back again, and Ken Palm again. Not the end of the world, right? It's basically style points, but this team has gone from 77th after the first win to now they're 88th after this performance. They were 84th after the win on Monday, and now they step back another 4 steps. Lehigh was not a good offensive team. They shot coming into this game, and they went 9 of 25 for 36% from 3. Overall, shot 43% in the game. Rutgers was 51, but like I said, missed a lot of inside, layups, not for the dunks. Shooting percentage would have been far worse. They did shoot 70% from the foul line, which is an improvement for this team after the last 2 games. 19 of 27 certainly got there. Fast break points, 18 to 13. Again, I think with this team, are they winning because they're just overmatching their opponent physically and talent-wise at this stage of the season? Or are they winning in sustainable ways that's going to translate against better competition? And I think, you're seeing some positive traits. You're seeing them play together. You're seeing the offense, for the most part, I think, being unselfish. I think some of the shot selection, could certainly improve. Defensively, they just were not as dominant as I thought they should have been against the opponent. And I think that's got to be an identity, in terms of bringing it defensively 40 minutes every night, being able to push the pace, being able to take advantage of points in transition, points off of turnovers, creating havoc on the defensive end. They haven't really pressed that much. They've struggled against the 2-3 zone against low major competition. That's a red flag for, Big Ten play. In the interior, I mean, holding up defensively. Obviously, they've dominated the boards the last 2 games, but they haven't played real competition. I said Ogbole, dominated in the plains because he's not in the forest yet. And the forest is coming. They're approaching the forest, and he's got to be able to hold his own against the big trees of the Big Ten. So, a lot of question marks still. Again, 3-0, 3 double-digit victories, taking care of business, doing what they have to do. The rotation's tightening up a bit. I do give Pikiell credit for that. He's not messing around, and he's not kind of just giving guys 3 minutes to kind of figure things out. He's playing to win. He's going with guys that he feels will help him in that moment. And it's kind of the rotation's kind of figuring itself out pretty early on. Like I said, down the stretch, he had Grant, Davis, Buchanan, Ogbole, and then it was he had Badalo, a good amount, shuffled Francis in there, a little bit of Bryce Dortch even down the stretch. But this team is, not particularly deep yet. The Euro guys have not really panned out so far. The small backcourt, certainly brings concerns as competition ramps up. You have American on Tuesday, then Central Connecticut State, who beat BC this week, comes to the rack next Friday, and then you go to Vegas, and then it gets real quick. Thanks so much for listening and watching once again here at the Scarlet Faithful podcast.